Welcome to StopFake, the place where we set the record straight on disinformation about Ukraine. I'm political analyst Michael Getto with this week's dissection of Russian alternate reality. This week's disinformation menu brings you Ukrainian armed forces recruiting mercenaries from Croatia. A popular Italian newspaper claims that Ukraine's ballet dancer Serhiy Polunin is a Nazi. New language tensions and protests ahead in Ukraine, Russian media warns. And pay or die, Ukraine's health ministry abandons its cancer patients. That's a lot of disinformation, so let's get to the details. Russian Defense Ministry television channel Zvezda published a story this week claiming that Ukraine's armed forces were recruiting mercenaries from Croatia using social media. Zvezda cites RUSerbia.com, a pro-Russian Serbian site, as its source and lists a purported Ukrainian recruiting contact. However, the link connects to a Serbian group on the vKontakte Russian social media site. There is no reference to an original source for this fake claim, an unattributed phrase stating that social media recruitment of Croatian mercenaries to fight on the side of Ukraine's armed forces was on the rise is the only evidence provided. The photograph used to illustrate this story first surfaced in 2015 and was used in an Al Jazeera story about Serbian fighters fighting on the side of the Russian-supported separatists and Croat volunteers fighting alongside the Ukrainian military. There are Croats fighting on the side of Ukraine in the war in eastern Ukraine, the Croatian Foreign Ministry and Croatian media confirm. The Berlusconi family-owned Italian newspaper Il Giornale published an article by journalist and blogger Luca Romano claiming that prominent ballet dancer Serhiy Polunin is a Ukrainian Nazi. The proof for this outrageous claim, according to Romano, are the dancer's tattoos. Romano alleges that tattoo of the Ukrainian national symbol, the trident, on Polunin's left hand is a symbol of the ultra-right group Right Sector. Romano saw the dancer's tattoos in a photo shoot Polunin did for the Italian clothing line Paul Zelleri. The trident is the official coat of arms of the Ukrainian state and dates back to the 9th century. The Right Sector's symbol is a stylized trident with a sword in the middle. Polunin's tattoo does not contain the sword. Romano also writes that another of Polunin's tattoos, a rune sun symbol, is really a Nazi sign. The Kolovrat is an ancient Slavic mythological symbol of the sun dating back some 12,000 years. This summer, Spanish media accused a Ukrainian footballer of neo-Nazism for wearing a t-shirt with the Ukrainian trident. Don't Italian and Spanish journalists fact-check? All they have to do is type in trident and presto, they can get the facts. Russian media are predicting unrest and protests in Ukraine because of pending legislation on the Ukrainian language. A draft law introduced in Ukraine's parliament calls for increasing content in Ukrainian on national television to 75% and at least 50% on regional channels. This law will not only ban the use of Russian, it will also limit national minorities' regional languages in western Ukraine and lead to conflicts and protests, predicts Russian NTV. The newspaper Izvestia even quotes so-called experts from the separatist Donetsk People's Republic who claim the law will lead to ever greater division in Ukraine. One of the authors of the draft law, Mykola Niazhitsky, says the legislation will not curtail any minority language in Ukraine, but rather will support Ukrainian. A poll conducted by the reputable Rozumkov Center this summer shows that 92% of Ukraine's population are proud of Ukrainian and positively disposed towards the language. 65% speak Ukrainian freely, and 56% believe Ukrainian should be the official state language. Another poll conducted by the Ukrainian Independent Center for Political Research shows that Russian-speaking Ukrainians believe that the Ukrainian language is discriminated against in Ukraine and needs support and protection, in order to overcome the consequences of Soviet-era Russification policies. 80% of Russian speakers in Ukraine said their language rights are satisfactorily protected. On November 8th, Ukrainian and Russian media published stories claiming that Ukraine's health ministry would no longer help cancer patients, alleging that acting health minister Ulana Suprun announced the ministry was closing down its support program. They declared that the state was abandoning those suffering from cancer. Such reputable sites as Zik, Correspondent, and others freely disseminated this fake. Russian media followed suit with even more apocalyptic headlines, such as Pay or Die by Ukraina.ru, while Ekonomika Сегодня announced that Ukraine was ancient Sparta, leaving it sick to die. This fake began on a regional information site, Informacyjna Vinnytsia, in which the chief cancer specialist in the central Ukrainian city of Vinnytsia spoke about the possible closing of the ministry's cancer program. In the story, Minister Suprun is cited as saying the health ministry will focus more on cancer prevention rather than treatment. The Ministry of Health responded to this fake story with a statement explaining that Ukraine was not ending cancer program financing, quite the opposite. The 2017 budget for cancer medicines was sizably increased, and the ministry's cancer outreach was simply changing its name from program to measures. That's it for this week. Our video digest presents only a few of the fakes we debunk every week. Look for more disinformation set straight on the StopFake website. Be vigilant, look out for fakes, and if you spot anything that smacks of disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Michael Getto, and this is StopFake. Thanks for watching.